Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please go below and hit the subscribe button right now. Click it, click it, click it. I'm going to touch on a couple of real things. This is during the coronavirus, and I have been quarantined with my family here for 5 or 6 days, and I'm about to go to the lake again. But I know this is a really hard time for everybody. I know that there's a lot of people that are stuck in their houses longer than we want to be, and hopefully this doesn't carry on and keep going any longer than what it has to. But I know everybody's doing their part. I know that my family is, and all my neighbors seem to be. So let's just try to all get through this and maybe get a little fishing done with some social distancing while we're at it. The time of year that it is here is it's the time of year when some of my trees have not bloomed. It's time of the year when some of my trees have bloomed. It changes. It depends on where you are in the country. I know that down in Texas, those guys are already sight fishing, and we're going to be doing just that here in about a week. So what I wanted to do today was I wanted to cover one of my very favorite baits that I use, especially this time of year is when it's the most dominant. And quite frankly, it's probably the most dominant bait of all time. It probably is. And it's a spinnerbait. Here we go. All right, guys, here it is, the spinnerbait. Really excited to talk about this. It's something that's true to my heart, something I've thrown, being from part of the country that I'm from, stained water. We throw it a lot. We throw it year round here, but this is really its wheelhouse. The springtime is the spinnerbait's wheelhouse. There's no doubt about it. The reason I love throwing it is because it wins tournaments. It catches big ones. It catches numbers. It'll catch them shallow. It'll catch them a little deeper. It does it all. It catches suspended fish, fish on trees, fish on wood, fish in grass. I mean, it is a mobile machine. So that's really what's cool about a spinnerbait. I'm going to go over in this show the things that are important to me about a spinnerbait, which are the line size, the rod that I use, the rod strength that I use, the length that I use. I'm going to try to cover everything any questions that I think I might have about a spinnerbait that I've gotten through the years. I'm going to try to cover in this one video. So stick with me. It's just going to be about springtime spinnerbaiting. I'm going to get it done. All right, the spinnerbait. When do I throw a spinnerbait? Well, anytime's a good time to throw a spinnerbait, but particularly early in spring is a good time to be throwing a spinnerbait. I like it in stained water. I like it in clear water. It doesn't really matter at that point. When fish first make their push to the spawn is when I like to throw a spinnerbait the most. That's when it's most effective. That's when I know that it's most dominant and you have the most opportunity to win a tournament with a spinnerbait. Spinnerbait things that I'm looking for in a spinnerbait, generally speaking, is I'm looking for blade combinations that not everybody else is throwing. I want a different thump, a different vibration. If I'm in an area of the country that I feel like a lot of people are throwing spinnerbaits, this is a big Indiana blade. It's a tier blade, doesn't have near the thump that a Colorado has with a little Colorado kicker. I generally throw 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce spinnerbaits. I'd say I throw 1/2 ounce spinnerbaits 90% of the time and 3/4 ounce spinnerbaits 10% of the time. With the 3/8 and the 1/4 ounce in the springtime, not at all. It's not an issue to me. I want bigger. I'm looking for bigger fish, bigger bites. I want a bigger spinnerbait. 1/2 ounce spinnerbait seems to do the job most places that I've been. There have been some places that I've been to that they tend to like it a little bit deeper, like Lake Cumberland in Kentucky. Lakes that are a little bit deeper, the fish level a little bit deeper. The 3/4 ounce seems to cover that water column a little bit better and stay in that strike zone longer than a 1/2 ounce does. To use or not to use a trailer, it's a question that we get all the time. This is a 3.5 inch big bite finesse swimmer. It's a paddle tail bait. It's something that I'm going to use in the springtime. I'm looking for that big bite. I want that big profile. I'm looking for a trailer that makes the bait look bigger. The paddle tail does that job, and she's going to eat something that's big as opposed to something that's small. That's one thing that I really have understood about fishing going through the years. I mean, like, nobody's ever interviewed a bass. None of us have. But the one thing that I do know for sure is that the big ones definitely like big baits. Like, we can't deny that. I know that is a fact. Big ones eat big baits. That is a given, no doubt about it. I've seen it and seen it and seen it. So in the springtime, yeah, I'm putting on a trailer. This is a 3.5 inch big bite finesse swimmer. It's a paddle tail bait. It's something that I'm going to use in the springtime. I'm looking for that big bite. I want that big profile. I'm looking for a trailer that makes the bait look bigger. paddle tail does that job. You can change colors, you can offset it. You'll see this next bait that I'm fixing to show you is very different than this one. It's very loud. This is a much more subtle spinnerbait for the part of the country that I live in. All right, guys, here's another one that a lot of guys talked about and seen before. This is another 1/2 ounce War Eagle. I like the War Eagle because it's got a smaller diameter wire, and I feel like that you get more vibration out of the War Eagle. I know that a lot of guys throw the War Eagle, but it's a bait that I've been throwing for a long time, probably back when there wasn't a lot of guys throwing them, and now it seems to kind of be the standby that most guys probably are throwing War Eagles, but it's a spinnerbait that'll catch them for sure. A lot of it has to do with this wire size and the head design on this bait. It gives it the right vibration and wobble. This particular one has got this red kicker on it, or orange kicker. It's really a red, is what I like to call it. It's something that we made popular in Oklahoma 20 years ago, and it was kind of a secret for a long time, but it's come through to the forefront. There's many people throwing it now. I think Jason's got his line of baits out now that pretty much have red heads on them, I believe. But anyway, you can do any kind of combination you want on this. The idea of it is to bring something contrasting out of the water, and when you're fishing in really muddy water or stained water, this right here is a really good contrast. I've been throwing it here lately this year with this new Kamikaze swim on and flamethrower. And dude, I'm telling you, this thing is not just a chatterbait trailer. It works as a spinnerbait trailer as well. Caught a lot of good fish on it already this spring. We're going tomorrow. We're going to make another video tomorrow, and I've got a feeling we're going to catch them because everything looks right weather-wise. So really excited to go do that. Same setup. Throw this on 20-pound test fluorocarbon. My rods change from time to time. We said we were going to talk about the rods. So to the rods that I throw them on, I've got both these on Falcon Experts. They look identical. They're both 7'3", but there is a difference. One is an Amistad 7'3", and one is an Amistad extra heavy. So Hallman, when do you use which and which? I like the 7'3" Amistad. It's a little bit lighter rod. I like it better around docks. It tends to help my roll cast and accuracy. When I get around more heavy cover, I do like the extra heavy rod. It allows me to pull those fish a little bit further away from the bushes and the trees. It's just kind of a feel thing for me. The rods are pretty close. Extra heavy is a heavier rod. I guess it just kind of depends on my feel and the size of the fish that I've been catching. Like if I'm at Rayburn, I'm definitely throwing the extra heavy. I'm not throwing the Amistad. But if I'm at Grand Lake around boat docks, I like the Amistad. So, you know, it's kind of your choice, whichever one you tend to like, but that's where I usually end up in rods. As far as reels, really all that matters to me is that I'm throwing a 7-to-1. I don't care for the 6-4-to-1. I don't like it that slow. This late in the spring, I want to be able to cover some water. I don't need a blazing speed reel. It's 8-3 or whatever to 1. I just want a 7-3-to-1 reel, and as long as it's got a good drag, I'm good to go. The lines that I tend to like to use, I like 18-pound test and 20. I use both of them in SC Sniper. I like the Sniper better than the Shooter. I feel like it's a little better casting line. I like the 18 whenever I'm around a little less cover, and the 20 whenever I'm around really thick, heavy cover. If I'm throwing it in the bushes and trees, I'm definitely throwing the 20. If I'm just throwing around the edge of boat docks and slow rolling, trying to get a little deeper fish, maybe some suspended fish, I do tend to like the 18. They're both really good lines. I've had a lot of success with both of them. I don't think that it really matters. It's just whatever your preference is. Just don't go out there throwing a 1/2 ounce spinnerbait on 15-pound test fluorocarbon. Please, if you do, don't say that I told you to go do it. Because when you catch it, because when you hook a big one and you get broke off, you're on your own. I can't help you with that. As far as trailers, Big Bite's got a bunch of new trailers out that I like a lot. Like I said, I do like the Finesse Swimmer. I believe Mike McClellan designed this bait, and I also like the new Swim On. And I'm really starting to like the Swim On a lot. Everything in this new Kamikaze, I'm really crazy about. So a couple of good trailers for you guys to try. Some that I've been using this year and last year both and had a lot of success with. So guys, leave your comments below. Tell me what your favorite spinnerbait is, and maybe we'll have a combination, because that's how this deal works. You give me some of yours, I give you some of mine. I've learned as much from you guys as you guys learned from me. That's how it's gone so far for me in this program, and really excited to see what you guys have to say. As far as that goes, I want to wish everybody well staying home. I hope you're living somewhere that you do have able to get out of the house just a little bit and possibly get by near a waterway and make a few casts. If not, I understand you're going to be on the YouTube for another week or so, but hang in there, dude. This thing's going to be over before we know it.